at a door that never closed, a name you said in undertones, a laugh too quiet for the day, but bold enough to drift my way. There was a song beneath your sigh, a violin too shy to cry, a whisper stitched with silver thread that hummed the lines you left unsaid. Only when the clocks unspin and gravity forgets my skin do I hear you calling me in chords of soft telepathy. These are things you only hear in reverie, the static on the edge of memory, the echo of a hand you didn't hold, the silence that somehow feels too bold, a voice that fades when light appears, a lullaby composed of fears. It sings me back where I can't be, to things I only hear in reverie. You speak in colors dreams invent, like almost blue or hopeful bent, and though I try to write them down, they vanish when the world makes sound. The wind inside a picture frame, the rustle of a half-spoke name, they visit where the real dissolves, where questions bloom but don't resolve. I sleep to hear the truth unspoken, and frequencies of hearts half broken, not loud enough to wake the night, but bright enough to bend the light. These are things you only hear in reverie, where time plays songs that set you free, a phrase you dreamed but never said, a warmth that lingers once you fled. I keep a room inside my mind where echoes go and love's unkind, and every time I dream I see the things you only leave in reverie.
Shasta, she walks like a waltz with a wink on beat. Every heel click landing so sweet, hair pinned high with a ruby shine, and a stare that cuts through the smoke and wine. The band holds tight as she starts to sing. Every trumpet flares like a wedding ring. The room melts down in glitter and heat when she drops that note so bittersweet.
Satin and trumpets, glitter and gold, a voice like velvet, rich and bold. She swings through the silence, burns through the gloom, turns a cheap old lounge to a ballroom bloom. Satin and trumpets, watch her ignite. She owns the song and owns the night.
The sax man smiles, the drummer grins. Even the chandeliers start to spin. She don't need love, she don't need luck. Just a stage, a mic, and a good brass pluck. The spotlight curves where her shadow sways, a living note in 1,000 ways. One blink and hearts begin to bend, 'cause every line she sings feels like the end.
Satin and trumpets, razz and flare, she's jazzing heels, floating on air. Notes like diamonds, breath like flame. She ain't a singer, she's a name. Satin and trumpets, hush the crowd. She hits that high and the room gets loud.
Let the curtains fall, let the lights all dim, but that final phrase, it still clings to him. Backstage roses and lipstick stained glass, but no one ever really saw her pass. Just echoes now in the ballroom floor, where a satin spun forevermore.
Now the trumpet's soft, the room gone bare. Only ghosts and echoes fill the air. But close your eyes and she returns. With every brass note she still burns. Satin and trumpets never fade, still swinging strong in midnight shades. She left the mic but stayed in tune, like a jazz-born moon in a smoky saloon. Satin and trumpets, her grand ballet, and baby, she still plays Broadway. 12:01, the static bends. A voice comes through, I thought I'd end. No call sign, no land, just velvet noise and ghosted band. They play a song I dreamed at 10, a lullaby, then silence again. A laugh I swore I'd heard before, then clicks, then knocks, then one note more. It's never loud, it's never clear, but always waits when midnight's near. It tells the stories no one kept, the words we lost when we overslept. Midnight broadcast from nowhere land, comes with dust on every strand, plays the thoughts I never spoke, and letters that the mailman broke. It hums in keys the clocks forgot, it comforts what the day does not. A signal sown in dreams and snow, from somewhere hearts like mine still go. One night it said your name so slow, I nearly called but let it go. It played your voice reversed and raw, like shadow puppets on the wall. I lit a match, the dial spun red. The announcer laughed like someone dead, then quiet just a like even ghosts were passing by. Maybe it's just in my mind, a grief-fed glitch, a phantom find. But when it plays, I feel less gone, like I belong to where it's on. Midnight broadcasts from nowhere town, where memories speak without a sound. It spins the vinyls, time mislaid, and sings the fears I've never weighed. It doesn't ask, it doesn't sell, it just reminds me far too well that even lost were sometimes found in strange late songs beneath the ground.
I walk the city past midnight again. No one out, just the ghost of the rain. Footsteps echo like they're not my own, like someone else trying to find their home. I passed the bar where we once danced. The jukebox still plays second chances. I kept my head down, crossed the lane, and then I heard it, someone say my name. It was the streetlight flickering slow, calling me back to a time long ago, when we were young and the world was kind, before you slipped from hand to mind. No one calls me by that name now, except the wind and maybe this town. But that street light blinked like it still knew the version of me that once loved you. There's a bench by the river, we carved our date, still there though time tried to erase. The letters are fading, the wood's giving in, like promises made we couldn't defend. I lit a smoke and watched it curl, like all the plans we let unfurl. Someone passed me, didn't say a thing, but that street light buzzed like it wanted to sing. It was the street light flickering slow, whispering stories I no longer show. It knew the rhythm of old lies, it blinked in Morse like it still tries. I stopped beneath it just to see if maybe it still remembered me, and it did in yellow quiet glow. That street light never let me go. People forget, cities don't. The pavement knows what lovers won't. Your name is scratched into a wall, but I'm the only one who stops at all. So when they ask why I roam this street, why I talk to light moonlight knew my name.
The only thing that still remains.
There's a room behind the record store where velvet curtains kiss the floor and lights are dim to barely gold, like memories too soft to hold. The vinyl spins in whispered tones of Chetnella sighs and moans, and every chair a secret kept where once we danced and once we wept. In velvet loom in blue, where time forgets what lovers do, and smoke curls up like distant dreams in rhythms drowned in faded schemes. The piano plays though no one's there, yet I still smell your evening hair. The velvet room, it still holds true to every night I spent with you. You wore a dress of midnight thread and laughed like cabarets long dead. Your fingers traced a glass of gin, your eyes said more than lips let in. You hummed along to autumn leaves and left your perfume on my sleeves. We spoke in chords, we kissed in rests, and every note knew what came next. I came back years too late, I know. The sign was gone, the light hung low. But as I stepped past peeling walls, I heard your voice through ghosted halls. A saxophone was crying slow, the way it did that night you'd go. And in that room, dust wrapped askew, still burned your flame in velvet. The velvet room in blue remains in shadows stitched with lipstick stains. No crowd, no show, no mirrored floor, just echoes knocking at the door. The air still tastes like last goodbyes, like champagne lost in lullabies. And when I close my eyes, I do return to you in velvet blue. So leave the key beneath the frame and light a match to speak my name. I'll meet you where our love once grew, inside the room in velvet blue.
Another cigarette, another silent sigh, ash on my sleeve, stars in the sky. The echo of your heels down memory's hall still haunts the corners of this smoke-stained wall. You left your coat, your favorite song, and a silence that's been playing too long. Now every match I strike just burns a little slower than the hurt returns. Cigarettes and sweet regret, that's all I've got and can't forget. Your lipstick stain on a coffee cup, and a heart I never quite gave up. You were a fire I couldn't hold. Now all that's warm has turned cold. Cigarettes and sweet regret are all I light for you yet.
We used to dance in the kitchen light. Now I dance alone through endless night. Your laughter's gone, but it echoes near every time I pour that second beer. The saxophone cries like you used to sing, low and lonely like an old brass ring. And the jukebox skips where your song played, like fate itself just walked away.
Cigarettes and sweet regret, wrapped in the things I can't forget. The way you'd smile and turn away, like you always had more to say. Now every draw, every breath is just another step toward death. Cigarettes and sweet regret, the smoke still tastes like you yet.
Ooh, maybe we were wrong, maybe we were right, but you slipped out like the last note of night. No fights, no flames, just ashes and air, and the scent of you still everywhere.
I quit once, then twice again, but every time it rains I cave in. The lighter clicks and there you are, in every exhale, every falling star. If you ever pass this way once more, you'll find your ghost behind the door. Still smoking, still aching, still playing pretend, still waiting for the past to bend. Cigarettes and sweet regret, the kind of love you never forget. Your perfume, your laugh, your silhouette, all wrapped up in this slow duet. And though you're gone, I'm not done yet, not with these cigarettes and sweet, sweet regret. Sidewalk slick, but the air is warm. like memories clinging after the storm. Neons flicking on the liquor store sign, and your name still echoes through my mind. You left your heels by Lennox and 125th. Said you'd call, but you never did. Now walk alone through silver pane in Harlem after rain. Harlem after rain, quiet and slow, where the lovers used to laugh below. Saxophones crying alleyway blues, and puddles reflect the love I lose. You were the song, the sugar, the flame. Now it's just Harlem and your name. I see your ghost in the cafe chair, still sipping gin with that autumn stare. The trumpets hush, the streetcars sigh, as I light one up and ask God why. Steam's rising from the subway grate, like second chances showing up too late. I trace our steps on this broken lane, down Harlem after rain. Harlem after rain, echoes and haze, footsteps lost in yesterday's maze. We danced through the drizzle, lips like fire, but you vanished like steam on wire. Now jazz plays soft from an upstairs pane, and I hum your name down Harlem after rain. Ooh, I ain't asking for another try, just one last look where we said goodbye. They say Harlem don't sleep, but she weeps at 3 when the past walks slow and follows me. There's rhythm in the drip, poetry in pain. There's beauty in Harlem after rain. Even the lampposts lean to pray for the girl who slipped away. Harlem after rain, wet with regret, but I light a smoke, try to forget. A love so brief, a night so wide, still hear your laugh on the riverside. So if you pass through this jazz-stained lane, listen close, I'm still here in Harlem after rain.
Ma vie, ah, glass raised high in a midnight glow. Your eyes shimmer like the stars on show. Every note from the band whispers low. Darling, tonight, let the secrets flow. Silk and ice, your touch ignites the mood. In a haze of smoke and whispers subdued. Every sip, every glance sets the stage for a tender tale penned on this vintage page. You're my velvet martini, cool and refined, a taste of passion in a glass defined. With each heartbeat, the rhythm grows clear. Our love's a dance that erases all fear. Oh, velvet martini, let the night conspire to melt our hearts in jazz and desire. The bass hums deeply, echoing our sighs under moonlit curtains and smoky skies. Your laughter, a melody both soft and bold, fills the air with stories untold. In every clink of crystal, a promise rings, a fleeting moment where true love sings. We lose our thoughts in a gentle embrace as the band's refrain paints our secret space. You're my velvet martini, smooth and refined, a bittersweet journey where our souls are aligned. With every note, a new story spun in a night of jazz where we're to become one. Oh, velvet martini, in your depth I see a canvas of dreams wild and free. Ba-do-ba-ba-dee-oo. The sax croons softly in the afterglow. Let the music take us where no words can go. In a velvet haze, just let your feelings show. As the dawn peeks through the velvet night, fading echoes of jazz meet early light. We linger on the rim of a fleeting kiss. In this timeless moment we can't dismiss. Every whispered word, every shadow cast binds the future to a storied past. In the cool embrace of that final refrain, our hearts declare love without any pain. Oh, velvet martini, now the night must end, but your charm and mystery will always transcend. In every cool sip and every lingering beat, I find a love that makes my world complete. Velvet martini, under the moon's decree, forever you remain the taste of ecstasy.
I traced your name in charcoal dust on highways made of quiet trust. Each mile a hope, each turn a guess, a compass pulled by tenderness. The signs all pointed west of truth, where silence bloomed and shadows grew. You said just follow where I've gone, but every path led me alone. I kept your voice beneath my coat. It faded slow, but still it flows through forest hush and city glare, still chasing fog that isn't there. I drew a map to nowhere, with every line a lie. The mountains move, the rivers bend. Each X was just goodbye. You were a myth I couldn't quit, a dream I wore too thin, and every step I took toward you just walked me back within. The stars once lit your laughing trail, but even constellations pale, and all the towns I passed you in were built from scraps of could have been. I named a hill for how you'd smile. I camped beneath it for a while, but time dissolved the edge of roads and left me with a heart that knows that felt to be replaced. I drew a map to nowhere, still folded in my hand. It leads to all the might have beens across a shifting land. You weren't a place, you weren't a home, just echoes in the air. And I still walk some nights alone on a map that leads nowhere.
There's a box beneath my bed, carved in rosewood, lined in lead. It doesn't open with a key, it sings itself reluctantly. Each note a name I didn't say, each chime a glance I threw away. The ballerina turns so slow to songs that only silence knows. I wind it once on quiet nights and hear my almost taking flight, a porcelain and sorrow tune that only plays in empty rooms. I keep my regrets in a music box, locked where the hush of memory knocks. They spin in circles, dressed in white, forever trapped in candlelight. No smash, no scream, no grand collapse, just melody in silver wraps. They pirouette on glassy floors and never ask for something more. The lid is scratched by second thoughts, the velvet smells like things forgot. Her whispers echo under glass, a timeline I let crumble fast. Each winding brings a different year, the voice I lost, the touch I fear. And once a song starts I can't leave until I dance with make-believe. I tried to toss it once or twice, but it returned like bad advice. It wants no justice, needs no fame, just music stitched with shadowed shame. I keep my regrets in a music box. They never fade, they just detox. A symphony of might have been, conducted soft beneath the skin. So when I smile and lights are low, just know what turns beneath the glow. 1,000 notes I dared not play, still dancing in that heard a door that never closed, a name you said in undertones, a laugh too quiet for the day, but bold enough to drift my way. There was a song beneath your sigh, a violin too shy to cry, a whisper stitched with silver thread that hummed the lines you left unsaid. Only when the clock's on spin and gravity forgets my skin do I hear you calling me in chords of soft telepathy. These are things you only hear in reverie, the static on the edge of memory, the echo of a hand you didn't hold, the silence that somehow feels tuned, a voice that fades when light appears, a lullaby composed of fears. It sings me back where I can't be, to things I only hear in reverie. You speak in colors dreams invent, like almost blue or hopeful bent, and though I try to write them down, they vanish when the world makes sound. The wind inside a picture frame, the rustle of a half-spoken name. They visit where the real dissolves, where questions bloom but don't resolve. I sleep to hear the truth unspoken in frequencies of hearts half broken, not loud enough to wake the night, but bright enough to bend the light. These are things you only hear in reverie, where time plays songs that set you free, a phrase you dream but never said, a warmth that lingers once you fled. I keep a room inside my mind where echoes go when love's unkind, and every time I dream I see the things you only leave in reverie. I walk alone past midnight's edge, the shadows stretch, the street forgets, but one light flickers just for me. Above the cracks, above the sea, it follows soft, no buzz, no hum, like some old grief that won't succumb. It moves ahead or waits behind, a loyal ghost with yellow spine. Neighbors swear it's never there, but every night it guards the air. It lights the road, it dims my doubt, like something I can't live without. The street light that follows me home knows every name I've walked alone. It bends, it breathes, it sometimes blinks, like it remembers more than I think. It's not on maps, it casts no glare, but finds me when there's no one there. A quiet vow and filament to guide me back from where I went. It saw the fight, it saw the fall, it saw me write you then erase it all. It saw me dig through old regrets and place them where your porch light sets. Some nights I test it, run off track, turn corners quick and don't look back, but always there, 2 steps then 1. It waits like dusk waits for the sun. Maybe it's my guilt in bloom, maybe it's you in costume, or just a light that cares enough to show the way when things get rough. The street light that follows me home is brighter when I feel alone. A silent pact, a secret star, a quiet proof of where you are. It never speaks, it never stares, but walks me out of dark affairs. And when I cry, it hums so low, the lullaby no one will know. The clocks still tick in the attic room, though none have hands or chimes that bloom. He left them set to silent grace, each frozen time a stillborn place. I dust them all at 4:30, the hour he returned no more. The key he used still warms my palm. I wind the hours just to stay calm. I am the clockmaker's widow now. I keep the time but not the vow. I mend the gears he left undone, while counting moons, not days or sun. He swore that time was just a thread between the living and the dead, but threads unwind when pulled too long, and now the tick is just a song. His bench is bare, the glass is dim. I light the lamp and speak to him. His voice once hummed like coiled brass, now echoes faint in panes of glass. He called time fragile as a kiss, and every spring a wound he'd fix. But hearts, it seems, don't take the strain of holding time or bearing pain. I am the clockmaker's widow true, still wearing gray instead of blue. I dress the cuckoo's cage with thread and feed the sparrows crumbs of bread. At midnight sharp I close my eyes and hear his voice like lullabies. He says, don't cry, I'm in the chime. I left myself in loops of time. In the attic of my mother's house, behind a lamp, behind the drought, I found a drawer that wouldn't budge. It creaked like it still held a grudge. Inside were cards from every shore, from Lisbon's sun to Singapore. Each one addressed but never sent, the stamps unlicked, the corners bent. Dear you, I miss the way we laughed. Dear me, I couldn't stop. Wish you were here, they always start, but none of them reached any heart. The drawer of unsent postcard knows the weight of words that never go. 1,000 lives, 100 tries that died beneath unopened skies. Some love too raw, some pride too loud, some meant for someone lost in crowds. They sit in silence, neatly stacked, the words we want but can't take back. One bore my father's younger name, written before he ever came back from a war he wouldn't name. A card that simply said the same. Another one in lipstick red, to someone mom had never wed. I saw you dance, I couldn't breathe, the kind of truth you never leave. There's one in there I recognize, in awkward script from younger eyes, addressed to me, unsent, unsigned, from someone I left far behind. Through a drawer of unsent postcards sings of stitched up hopes with paper wings, of sentences that fell apart before they ever left the heart. The places we were brave enough to write but not to stamp with love still echo soft in ink and dust. The cafe lights were soft and low, our voices lost in radio. We'd order tea and maybe lie about the weather, you and I. The waitress smiled, we'd tip and rhyme on backs of receipts, one at a time. Your haikus danced like paper birds, mine hid behind two careful words. We wrote our love on receipts in the rain, folded each one like it might explain why we stayed when the warmth was gone. Just paper ghosts we scribbled on, a sonnet scratched beside the wine, a joke in cursive, half a line. I saved them all inside a jar, little poems of who we were. The final day, the cafe blurred, the windows cried, but we said no words. You signed your name with no I miss, just thanks for every second kiss. I stayed behind, reread the past, each faded line too thin to last. The waitress cleared the table bare, except the last one, you left it there.
maps of pleasure and pain. You rode with flair, I rode too slow. Now one last poem says let go. I took the jar but left that one. Your quiet end, your quiet run, it curls there still by table 5. A love receipt left half alive.
The page was blank at 10 to 3, just ink and dreams and minor key. But when I woke, the notes were there in curling script like midnight air. No hand had moved, no lamp had glowed, the shutters tight, the silence slow. Yet there it sat, a finished score, a waltz I'd never dreamed before. The waltz that wrote itself one night, 3/4 time in silver light. No title, name, or hand to claim, just aching steps and ghosted flame. It danced alone across the page, a melody both sweet and strange. And when I played, the walls grew still, as if the air bent to its will. The metronome refused to tick, it swayed instead, both slow and quick. My fingers moved with borrowed grace as tears traced shadows down my face. Each chord recalled a name long gone, each pause a whisper carried on. And though I tried to change the theme, it held me fast like waking dream. I searched the floor for scrawled remains, no footprints there, no ink stain stains, just candle wax and midnight dust and parchment warmed by something just beyond my reach, beyond my sight. A presence soft as candlelight. It signed no name, it made no sound, but still I felt it all around. The waltz that wrote itself by hand from some forgotten quiet land. It plays itself when no one sees, in keys that hum like autumn leaves. And when the final notes released, I sit alone but feel at peace, for something kind and long unseen composed my soul in minor dream.
I boarded late one autumn night, the station lost in silver light. The train was full, but near the end there sat a car that none could name. No number hung above the door, no markings carved upon the floor, just velvet seats and faded green, a place where dreams go to be seen. She sat alone with gloves of pearl, her voice the hush of falling curls. She looked at me as if she knew that love would only
pass us through. She didn't ask, I didn't speak. We let the silence slowly leak between the windows, fog and fate. Two strangers learning how to wait. The train car with no number rode through dusk and into dreams. It never stopped, it only wandered between what was and what it seems. No ticket ever got me in. I found it once and never since. But in my mind it runs on time, with her still seated reading lines. She shared a name I can't recall. It disappeared like raindrops fall. But in her lap a book was closed with letters I had once composed. She said we met when clocks stood still beneath the sky that bent at will. And as the rails began to bend, she smiled like someone near the end. And just before the tunnel turned, her eyes were pages left unburned. I reached to ask her if she'd stay, but shadows took the words away. The train car with no number moves where time forgets to go, with ghosts who wear their final thunder and dreams that dance in amber glow. If you should ride and find her there, be still and breathe the midnight air. She waits for those who once believed that love once lost can still be grieved.
I boarded late one autumn night, the station lost in silver light. The train was full, but near the end